Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is interviewing Jan Nelson, the CEO of Copper 360, which has just concluded the Nama Copper acquisition. Hi Jan, it's great to chat to you again. Tell us about the conclusion of the Nama Copper acquisition and how this will benefit Copper 360.
Yeah, we've concluded the due diligence on the asset, and we've paid the 150 million of the 200 million that's due, and the further 50 million will be funded from 3 tranches out of future offset on the offtake agreement. So in effect, we've paid the capital that was required. We still need a Section 11 consent, but that allows us on a lease basis to run the plant. We started the plant up last week, and yesterday we produced our first concentrate from the plant, and that was wonderful.
Gee, so how did you manage to do this so quickly? Have you been working in the background?
Yes, we have, Martin. We've been working with the Nama Copper team, and I must say that the management from Nama Copper who sold the plant to us has been fantastic. They have gone out of their way to make it easy for us to learn the aspects of the plant. We didn't know the plant before, but also to help us commercially to get over a few hurdles to execute the payments of the plant. We, as you know, have raised a considerable amount of money in the last 2 months, and that capital was applied to then pay off the plant, and that allowed us to get into production. But again, I must commend the sellers of the asset because they've really gone out of their way to make it easy for us to step into the operational role and to make the conclusion of the capital payments possible.
Tell us about the capacity this will give you, what sort of capacity it is, and the output that will come from this, adding to your existing output.
Yes. Martin, as you know, we've got the SXEW plant that is in production and produces copper plate, and we are in the process of finishing what we call the modular flotation plant 1 that will be in production in the next 2 months. But obviously, as we announced, we bought Nama Copper because that gives us a second concentrator plant. And what it does is it's got the capacity to treat 20,000 tons of rock at about 1.4% copper, and it'll produce about 230 tons of copper metal at between 30 to 40% copper concentrate. And, that almost doubles the production that we forecast from just MFP1. So it instantly doubles our production. And as we've announced, the commissioning has gone well. We've already produced conch within the first 4 to 5 days of starting up the plant. So we've had very little problems with the plant. And that, gets us, as they say, off to the races immediately, and it doubles our production, which is just very good from a cash flow perspective and growth perspective.
Tell us about the offtake at the moment and offtake agreements that you have for your product.
Yes, we've arranged a very good commercial terms on an offtake with Fujax, which is sort of a sister company of Nama Copper, from which we bought the asset. And they've negotiated with us very good commercial terms for the copper concentrate. And we virtually get almost 85% of the existing copper price. But I think what's important is that the concentrate gets taken at the mine gate, and then it's as if it was sold, and we receive virtually almost 90% within a few days of the concentrate value straight away, and it's not a problem past the mine gate. So that's very good for us, and it's very good commercial terms. And with the copper price now shooting up to $9,000 a ton, this is exactly the right time for us to get into production.
Absolutely. And so you're displaying a lot of momentum, though. What could be next from Copper 360?
Well, Martin, the first modular flotation plant will be in production in the next 2 months. And in addition to the 230 tons of copper metal that the Nama Copper plant will produce, we will add to that about another close to 400 tons of copper metal. So we'll be going up to about 700 to 800 tons of copper metal. The SXEW is building up to 100 tons of. So we'll be doing close to 1,000 tons of copper metal in the next 2 to 3 months from the 3 plants. The Rietberg mine is going into commissioning phase. We've started the opening up of the mine. Our heavy mine equipment is arriving this week. So we're very happy with that. And then, as you know, we've got some significant drill hole intersections that we've made at Koelkop and also at Tweefontein. And we're pushing quite hard on that. But the current focus is to get the 2 plants fully operational, the concentrate plants. And because they generate significant cash flow, the revenue from those two plants when they're in steady state is almost about 80 million rand a month. So you can see that's quite significant. So that will be the focus, and getting Rietberg into production safely and on time and producing rock. And then from there on, the next major focus point will be, and we're in discussions of that, will be the construction of a solar plant so that we can augment our current energy. We've just also finished the construction of a generator farm on our operations, and where we had about 60% availability as a result of the off and on between Eskom and our generators. With this farm, we have seamless transition, and our plants are now running at 97% availability. So all in all, everything is moving in a very good direction, but we've got a busy year, and we're looking forward to producing a lot of copper.
And finally, what in your view should be the main takeaway from this interview Mining Weekly is doing with you right now?
Well, I think the main takeaway for our shareholders should be that the production is now ramping up to full scale. After we've spent quite a bit of time building up and getting there, the capital has been spent. We've got some more capital to be spent on the mine. But I think the takeaway for shareholders is we are now building cash so that we can pay them a dividend early next year.
That was Creamy Media's Mining Weekly, speaking to Jan Nelson, the CEO of Copper 360, a pure copper play listed on the alternative exchange of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange.